What's up? It's your boy Carcino, and I'm going to take y'all on a trip today. We're going to go hip-hop today and tell you about the unspoken rule in the hip-hop game that goes on, which involves features. Now, it's a little different. Nobody cares anymore. People just like, the feature, whoever you get as the feature is bigger than you. So you're like, well, they bigger than me. I need them to help sell my record. See, that's not how it was back in the 90s or 80s and all that. You were the big artist. And whoever you had featuring, you were doing them the favor by having them on the record. So it became a situation only when there's a danger you could be upstaged so badly to that it wasn't even worth doing the feature. Because now people done forgot about you. And one guy who outstaged people and got on the scene, and a lot of people weren't happy about it, and they basically ran him out of the business. I don't know if y'all remember John Forte, but if y'all in hip-hop like me, you go back and listen to the Fugees' Cowboys, he killed it. His verse just shocked everybody. They was, who was this guy? Who was this? Who was that rapping? And I'm like, Pace One was on there, Digger was on there, Young Z. I'm like, everybody's on this track. And they was dissing Pac on the track too. If you listen to this song, Wyclef was really doing it. But John Forte killed this. I mean, it's not, he came out of nowhere and just stole the show. And it put him on the map to have his own spotlight. But people in the industry, for some reason, or I guess people vested in the Fugees, like, didn't like that he stole the show for some reason. Like, Big Pun, we heard ripping up mixtapes before, but once he ripped up the B-Nuts, you know, off the books, you know, when he did that, done. B-Nuts' career was over. It's like, y'all make beats, that's it. This guy's the truth. And you forget about people. You gravitate and be like, okay, we going from here and we going on right there. J. Cole became super famous. Not on his own album, first album, but everybody like, man, everybody liked that Cold World. I'm like, yes, everybody did. But what got the attention of everybody, which made everybody flock to J. Cole, was Beautiful Bliss. Remember with Wale? Ever since then, Wale was, they was, whoa, you know, like, man. And Wale's dope. But J. Cole burned him on that song. Now, there's always been people that's known to come in and tear your track apart. LL Cool J did that with EPMD, and it caused a little friction between the two, because everybody was talking about how Eldon ripped him. And of course, Jay-Z he's known for having features outstage him. You know, Pimp C did it the worst. People talk about Eminem. Eminem murdered him on his own song. I'm like, yeah, but y'all not thinking about Pimp C did it first. Pimp C was the one that stole the stage from him. I mean, he was able to hold, Jay-Z was able to hold his own with Big, but Pimp C just murdered Big Pimpin'. Jay-Z album has stalled. It started off on a hot streak early, then it just started dying down, and they didn't really have another single to give it that push it needed to continue. And out of nowhere, Big Pimpin' is dropped. The song was such a hit. The Midwest, down south, Florida, everywhere was playing the song. So Bun B and Jay-Z and them and Dame, they were like, man, we finna do a video for Big Pimpin'. So they called up Luke, because Luke had the girls, like, man, we doing this video, can you get these girls? And they was like, cool. We need some girls down here. Luke provided the chicks. So when they got the chicks and stuff down there and they was getting ready to do it, Jay was like, man, I gotta go add something else to the video. I want to add another verse. So Jay went and did a whole nother verse at the end of it to try to make people not see the fact that he got completely outdone by Pimp C, and Pimp C just owned the track. And Jay just had to give him props, like, man, that verse is just serious. But that's what people do. Like, you remember Nas and the Nori situation. There's been plenty of times Nas had to go back and change tracks. But it's not to say that the rapper outdid him. It's just that Nas don't want to be in a situation where he didn't feel like he was bringing it. Nas has done that plenty of times. He's done that with AZ. He's done that with, if he don't like the verse or a line, he'll go change it, or he might change the entire verse. Depends on what Nas feel. Sometimes if the other artist is off target so bad, like off the topic is way off, and it's like, dude, we not syncing up. But I got a verse to go along with what you're talking about. He would change it, and people be like, no, he changed it because of me, because I was bringing it. And, that's their ego kicking in without even really knowing why in the world the song was changed in the first place. Now, people was talking about the Eminem situation with Jay-Z and Renegade and what happened there. Well, let me explain that to you. Listen. Jay-Z wanted Eminem on the song. Wanted to try to get Eminem to do a record with him. And Eminem always wanted to work with him. But he was busy at the time and didn't have a time to go to record nothing new because they was working on their projects. And he's like, man, I don't think I'm going to have enough time to get this done by the time they need it. And they need something like right away. So he had a track he already had, Renegade. And he sent them that and said, well, I'll reduce the last verse. That's basically all he had to do, where he said, with Royce the 5'9", he had the same beat and everything. And just told Jay, this is how we going to do it. You just got to go back and forth and do that. And Jay was able to put his parts in there. And then he just changed the one part on the song. And when he said, Royce, he just changed that to chicka, 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 chicka. So that was about it. Everything else was the same on the song, verses and all. And the hook, Eminem had already done the hook. So it was an Eminem track. And it was like Jay-Z was the feature, but this is the song that's supposed to the general public who don't know anything. They thinking Jay-Z and Eminem went into the studio, made a song together called Renegade and put it out. But it's so owned by Eminem, and you can hear it in the song, like, well, it seems like an Eminem record. Like, everything's about him. He's got the hook, and Jay's seeming like a feature artist. So it backfired in that aspect, but the song was dope. And it wasn't that Jay did bad. Jay did pretty good. So, of all things considered, it's just that he basically got... Eminem just dominated the track because it was his song. Basically, he owned it. And he was very comfortable on that record. So, because of that incident, Jay-Z did not work with Eminem on another song for a very, 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 very long time. Because it was so damaging to Jay-Z what had happened, like the backlash from it with Ether and everything. He just had reservations with getting on songs with Eminem, and a lot of rappers felt like that. Like, I'm not gonna get on a song with Eminem. A lot of major artists, they were like, can't do a song with Eminem, it would ruin me. Like, Nas would never do it. Rob's like, nah, you can produce a track, but you're not gonna get on a song with me. That's not gonna happen. And Cappadonna and the Winter Wars. Now, that wasn't planned. Cappadonna just spazzed out so much, and normally the RZA would cut the record. He would cut the verse. RZA was so impressed with Cappadonna just destroying Winter Wars. Because that's how Donna raps. Like he said, it's like songs in the Bible. He just let it go. And it's like a whole paragraph of just arsenal. So when people heard that Winter Wars verse, I swear everybody played that like 1,000,000 times. Y'all remember the Carter 3 album? When was that Nothing on Me with Fabulous and Juelz Santana on the Lil Wayne album, and Fabulous just destroyed everybody on the track, and him and Juelz Santana was having a friendly competition on there. Because see, what happened was, I think it was Jim Jones and Juelz Santana. Because Juelz Santana was working with Wayne them heavy at the time. They had put out a mixtape basically together, and they was all cool. They went and got Fab to be on the track. Fab was cool. They cut Jimmy out and put in Fab. Because I don't think Jimmy worked or something. But Jim Jones is supposed to be on the song too, from what I heard. But Fab got on there, killed everything. Everything in sight. Destroyed it. Now, this caused some like competitional thing, because Juelz Santana was trying to say, okay, Fab gonna be on this track, I'm finna bring it. And he wasn't bad, but Fab killed that track too. Now back in the 90s, like I said, people used to get on people's tracks and, you know, you're the lesser artist, I'm gonna help you out in this situation. When Mace did 24 Hours to Live, he was the big star. DMX wasn't. DMX was the star back in the neighborhood, but here it is, he's putting these guys on. They got Def Jam want to put this on, and they got Black Rob, the Locks, and Mace is putting everybody on this 24 Hours to Live. DMX just jacked. X just went off. X went off on that 24 Hours to Live. Him and the Locks just did their thing. So that was like a great introduction into what Rough Riders was going to be like. They was bringing that ruggedness right to you, right to your chest. And another thing was the Ludacris Jada Made You Look remix with Nas. Both guys killed that song. It was so bad. Like, Nas' verse for Made You Look wasn't really that impressive anyway. It was a simple rhyme because it was a radio song. That when they did the remix, Nas did a freestyle to promote the album coming out at the end, like on my birthday. Friday the 13th, my CD dropped. I got more bass than Easy Rock. You know, he was freestyling at the end of it. It was so, they verses was so outstanding. Jadakiss, I used to copy a song, but now I break weed up on it. Helped the game, it didn't help me. I'm top 5 dead or alive, and that's with only one LP. He killed it. Luda came in there, killed it. Nas took a whole verse from another song that he did with what's his name? Swiss Beats. And took that verse and started putting it and performing it on stage when he was with them. But Nas didn't have to do that, but he would have changed the song, but when he went live, he wasn't going to let them hear that freestyle. And the GZA, who had a great album that was slept on by a lot of people, and his fame went away and faded off of the album because they felt he got outperformed on 2 songs. Like, on every video he had, he got outsung. Like, Shadowboxing, Method Man. That Method Man owned that beat, that whole song, everything. It was so bad, and it's great rhymes that the RZA put down on the song could not even come close to the assault that went down on that song, and then Ghostface and Killer Priest on the last song they was on. So Jizzle got forgotten about on his own album. And one of the greatest, probably murdering of a song from a feature artist is definitely Nas' Verbal Intercourse. But the International Players Anthem, Andre 3000 with UGK. How did that happen? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And see, the thing is that Andre 3000 ended up doing his verse later. You know what I'm saying? He came in later and did his verse, and they didn't know he was going to do it. Then he came in and did it. And just knocked it out the park. I mean, just unbelievable. And what Busta used to do, Busta Rhymes, from the leaders of the new school, used to go out, rock with Tribe, rock with everybody else who would put him on, because Busta had the voice, the rhymes. He was good for a good 16. Busta had style, he was hungry, plus he was, hey, these guys are on, they making records, they getting their stuff done. I'm trying to get myself known and getting out here, so I get myself on. So, that was it. You know, he was just getting himself on. So I'm quite sure I've missed out on a lot of them, a lot of appearances on songs that then, you know, that then went past everybody's minds and stuff like that, where featured artists came in. Like Cannabis got his career ended with the feature he had on LL Cool J song, and how Biggie basically erased Craig Mack, Craig Mack's song that was already hot, Flavor in Your Ear. Flavor in Your Ear was already hot, and once the remix is out, nobody played the original no more. The original was dead. And for those who don't know, let me tell you right now, Puff Daddy invented the remix. Stop anybody thinking anything different. He made the remix what it is. Marley Marl he did it, but it was like song doctoring when he did it. He would change the entire beat of a record, and they'll use the same lyrics. He would just flip the beat and just say, well, we just remixed it. Here it is. Puffy would make an entirely new song. Or if they did use the same lyrics, it'd be an entirely different rhythm, everything. And he made that basically a whole nother album, which made him one of the most successful record labels ever to start selling singles. Like CDs. Puffy had singles. You would have the album. You went to the store and bought the record. But when they dropped the remix, the maxi CD with the remixes on there, you went and bought that too for $5.99, $6.99, or whatever it cost. Because you knew they had all the remixes and other remixes. They had about 3 or 4 remixes on there. And it was smart, because for that one record, they were selling like 3 million, 1.2 million copies, 2 million copies. And I'm like, wow. That's one thing Puffy did that everybody started to emulate. I give him that. He invented the remix and making it like it's a necessity. Oh yeah, the one guy told me Nas live at the barbecue. I'm like, yeah, that's it. I mean, Nas got a lot of them, man. Eye for an eye. But Nas normally rap with people he knew. And of course he would just destroy anything. It's Mine with Mobb Deep. He destroys every time he's on there with Mob. He just blanks them out. I'm trying to think. Is there a feature? I totally forgot. Little Kim, Quiet Storm with Mobb Deep. And her All About the Benjamins verse. I mean, really. And for Philly fans, The Roots. Don't forget Benny Siegel, how he murdered Adrenaline. Y'all forgot that track. There are plenty of songs with some of the best features of all time. But, I mean, Redman got like 4 million. He was somebody else. You get Red, he destroys. Every song he was on with Meth be outstanding, and Redman will somehow top him. I mean, anything. Red Bull, Buck 50, anything he was on, Redman was killing. The Headbanger, he killed that, and still holding my juice. Redman, I can't tell you, he's one of the most underrated MCs of all time because there was nothing he didn't do. He got along with everybody, then he'd get on the song and take you out. That's just his style. I'm trying to think of today's age besides J. Cole. Oh, Drake did that to Rick Ross on that Teflon Don album. That song he had Drake on. Oh, Drake bodied Rick Ross on that. Well, I forgot what the name of that song was. Was it Aston Martin music or something after that car? Woo! Drake killed him on that. You got him a lot of attention too. But yeah, when people do features back then and to now it's different. You know, you go get them, the artists, they be dictating how the song should go, who should do what, and this is what I want on the song. You know, it's goofy. It's not the same. So Jay-Z is always going to be looked at because of it was Eminem, which put everybody on alert. Now, Dr. Dre is not, that shouldn't even be on the scale. Like people will say Snoop Dogg outdid Dr. Dre. Dre's the producer. To me, that don't count. Then you got Killer Mike. Y'all remember when Killer Mike was on Outkast's album, that Snapping and Trapping? Off the album nobody really liked too much. But I loved it. And that was that Stankonia album they put out. See, that's the sample right there. Snapping and Trapping. And Face had This Can't Be Life. A lot of people liked that verse and they let Face go out. I'm trying to think. Schoolboy Q for Brand New Guy. Yeah, on what's that? ASAP Rocky. That joint, man, dude, there's so many. I'll be racking my brain trying to go through all of this stuff, man. And I'm not finna start. If I get to, I'll spend 6 hours going through features. Be like, oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Because you know you always gonna skip or forget one. But those are just a few, man. It was a lot of stuff that went on in the studio. People got cut off records. Their verses got removed. Jay-Z removed Cam verse from A Situation. Myth Bleak verse got removed. That's how you knew it was problems at Rockefeller right there. Because Myth Bleak was on the song with Dipset on Cameron album and they took him off. They just cut him off the verse. They cut on the song Dog Pound did with the Wu-Tang. That got cut off into pieces, and they took Method Man and Redman, but they cut everybody else off the song. when Deck totally destroyed the song, and they took his verse off. Sibo, the bald-headed nut, did a song with Tupac, and Pac had died, so they ended up cutting everybody off the song. But Sibo verse was cut off even on the Machiavelli tapes. They cut Sibo verse off the album completely. I'm like, they just played Pac part and they just cut out Sibo. Then he did some Pac did vocals, background vocals for Pudgy the Fat Bastard. He did some background vocals on one of the songs that he had for the One Nation album. That went into limbo. We don't know what happened with that. And I'm like, wow, it's like feeling like the Bible, you know, all the books that's missing from the Bible, you know. It's like, man, where are these songs? Songs we probably never are going to hear ever, because the actual song with Faith Evans and Tupac, her version of "I Wonder Why They Call You Rich." Death Row has that song, and they had the clearances to release it. They sent the clearances finally. It took a long time, but they never released it. I guess they was like, look, we ain't gonna go that route. They're gonna find somewhere to try to sue us, or it's a trap. So we ain't gonna do it. But no, I'm gonna go ahead and not put on the record at all anyway. Even though she got paid for her time and worked there, you know, they still didn't put it on the record. They just cut her off completely. I'm trying to think, who else did a song that got cut? That was that a song became a monster. I know somebody was supposed to be on a song and it didn't work out or something. I think Tiger was supposed to be on the song. It was a Young Money song, and it was for the Young Money album, but he didn't make that song, and everybody else, the song became a hit. He was on Roger that, but it was another song he was supposed to be on, and he didn't make it there. They had already finished up. Like, look, you was late. The track's done. You know, we gone. It's already gone. So if you sleeping, you out. You know, we only taking the best and we putting it forward. That happened within groups a lot. Like, especially if you have a lot of members. Because I think they did a live performance with Eric Sermon and Onyx, and it was like Def Squad. They had Onyx on there, and it was a song with Redman, Onyx, and somebody else. And for some reason, I don't know where in the world that song is. I've tried to find it, couldn't find it. They performed it live. I'm like, wow. And this is during the time when they had the song "Let All the Live People In." So, yeah, it was during that time. And oh yeah, people was like, yeah, we need proof. How do you know Meek Mill did what he did? I know he did what he did because it came back to me that this is what happened. He reached out to Floyd. Floyd didn't know what he was talking about. He's like, who are you talking about? Carson, I don't know. Like, I don't know. He's like, man, people telling me he worked with you. He's like, what do you want me to do? He's like, call your boy Nate. So, I guess he decided to had somebody call Nate, or he text Nate like, man, you know, if one of your guys is messing with Meek Mill, like, you know, just tell him to, you know, fall back off that or whatever. Or find out what's the problem. And I'm like, really? Is this dude this emotional that social media is bothering him that much? When there's hundreds of thousands of people calling him a snitch, a loser, and, you know, can't rap, weak skills. I mean, people are vicious, way more vicious than me. He's just got to get a backbone. on that note, I can't think of nothing else on here where a feature has done anything really. Of course, that's why I don't mention Meek Mill into this. But yeah, you could take the 8-Man track. You know, Drake beat him on that. Rico, anything he's ever done. But I'm not finna go negative. We had a good hip hop discussion today, and I felt really good about it. We do have the boxing videos up too from the fight. Sean Simpson, you see him win, and you see Mike Jimenez win. Those are big fights. I enjoyed them, and both won by TKO. So you get to see some of the future stars coming up and get to know them now before they become mega stars. And I'll be like, I told you I knew them. And it'll be some idiot. How you know them? Anyway, though, I'm out.